The authorities quickly turned on Joyce and Charlie. Despite Joyce's insistence that the child was already injured when they picked her up, investigators accused the couple of sexually assaulting and fatally injuring Brandy during the 9 hours she was in their care. No forensic evidence supported this. No physical proof. But the prosecution claimed the injuries were fresh and could only have happened while Brandy was with them. Medical experts testified that the timeline fit. Joyce and Charlie were both arrested and charged with murder and aggravated rape. They pleaded their innocence over and over again. But in 1988, they were both convicted. Joyce was sentenced to life in prison. She was 39 years old. Charlie Dunn, also convicted, died in prison in 2015, never living to see the truth come to light. For 27 years, Joyce sat behind bars, labeled a child killer. She lost everything: her job, her home, her reputation, and most painfully, the trust of people who once loved her. Some friends turned away. Others just disappeared. Even those who believed in her were powerless against the weight of the justice system. But Joyce never stopped fighting. And then, in 2015, nearly 30 years after her conviction, someone finally listened. She spent 30 years in prison for a crime that never happened. In 1989, Joyce Watkins was a mother, a grandmother, and a respected member of her community in Nashville, Tennessee. She lived a quiet life, worked hard, and kept her circle small. No one could have predicted that one visit to pick up her 4-year-old niece would lead to a nightmare lasting more than 3 decades. It began on June 26, 1987. Joyce had driven with her boyfriend, Charlie Dunn, to pick up her niece, Brandy, from another family member's house. Brandy had been staying with a distant relative for nearly 2 months. Joyce hadn't seen her since then, but when she laid eyes on the little girl, something was wrong. Brandy was quiet. Her eyes were dull. She looked unwell, her body limp, and the Tennessee Innocence Project took an interest in her case. As they dug into the original evidence, they found what Joyce had always claimed: the timeline never made sense. A new medical review concluded that Brandy's injuries likely occurred long before Joyce and Charlie ever picked her up. Even worse, the prosecution's star medical expert from the original trial had reversed his position in later years, publicly acknowledging flaws in how child trauma cases were assessed in the 1980s. The evidence that once condemned Joyce was now falling apart. In November 2021, the Innocence Project and the Davidson County District Attorney's Office filed a motion to vacate Joyce's conviction. The court agreed. Her name was cleared. She walked out of court a free W. It's been a long journey, but I'm finally free. And I want the world to know I never hurt my niece. I loved her. Today, Joyce is working with advocates to push for laws that prevent wrongful convictions based on outdated forensic science. She lives simply, cherishing her time, her family, and her voice. Because for 30 years, she had none of those things. And all because the system needed someone to blame.